Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I am here with a very, very big update regarding VMAX Climax, and I am now ready to say, with a pretty high degree of certainty, that there are going to be 42 character super rares in VMAX Climax. Now, I've had a bunch of people asking me about this. I've had a whole bunch of messages, and I've lost most of them, and I'm really sorry. A couple of people did message going, hey, Wassy, you know what might be a little bit of fun? Might be fun if you do some predictions about the character rares coming in VMAX Climax. And the answer was, that would be fun, I'm not ready. In fact, tell a lie, Katie, Personic Kate was one of the people who messaged me about this, asking for some predictions. There were others, that's one that came to mind. Lily Fantasy Straight did send me a message going on about some wonderful predictions, going through some numbers, really making some honestly pretty sensible predictions. I know I don't always get a chance to reply to all the messages, especially the last week when I've been really quite ill. So if I sound weird, that's why. But I do really appreciate all the messages I get. And I've been chatting to people like the lovely Primal Lugia, the lovely Antoine Boulet, and others. And I think I'm now ready to say, yeah, there's going to be 42 character super rares. Because I've sat down, and I'm not the only one that's done this, and I've looked at all of the confirmed character super rares we've got. Now, I suppose at this stage we should really differentiate between character rares and character super rares. So the earliest character super rare that we've actually seen is Blaziken. We have seen Blaziken be revealed. Blaziken is confirmed. We have seen Blaziken. It is card number 216. We think there are 3 before that. We'll get there in a moment. So that is the earliest character super rare we've seen. We have also seen the character rares, things like, Charizard coming in, but at this stage it is very obvious if you look at the numbers, all of the character rares that have been revealed have numbers before all of the character super rares, so at this stage it is, or at least it should be, an absolute given that the way the set's being numbered is the secret rares, the ones with numbers above the set number. So, for instance, if we look at Blaziken, it is number 216 out of 184. So 185 is going to start your character rares, and then we're going to move into character super rares afterwards. And if you do what I've done, and you make a list of every Pokemon V and every Pokemon VMAX in the set, because the full set list was revealed on Friday, and if you then put in the numbers of all of the currently confirmed character super rares, you end up with a list that looks a little bit like this. And just to play spoiler here for a second, with one exception we'll get to in a moment, it lines up perfectly. I'm lying to you, there are 2 exceptions. So, for instance, Blaziken V is number 216, Pikachu VMAX is number 223. So we would be expecting 6 Pokemon cards between there. And in fact, in the set, between Blaziken V and Pikachu VMAX, we have Blaziken VMAX, Centiskorch V and VMAX, Ice Rider Calyrex V and VMAX, and Pikachu V. Would you believe it? There are exactly 6 Vs or VMAXs in VMAX Climax, the main set, between Blaziken and Pikachu, and with the character super rares, there are exactly 6 spaces, in terms of the numbering, between the character super rare of Blaziken and Pikachu VMAX. So at this stage, I think it is very, very likely, and by very, very likely in my head it is basically confirmed, with 2 exceptions, we'll get there in a moment, every V and VMAX which is coming in VMAX Climax is getting a character super rare. For a while I told you it was unlikely they would do Vs and VMAXs, but I was wrong. That is not what they're doing. Now, incidentally, we do have Kricketune and then Orbeetle V and VMAX coming in before Blaziken. We don't know that they're coming, because obviously we've not seen that early on in the set, but come on. If the rest of the numbering works out that well, there is no way this won't work out as well. I refuse to believe this isn't a thing, so again, if you really want to argue with me, I suppose you can on that one, but I think they are a little bit of a given. Now, I have told you that there are a couple of exceptions. So, of course, the question then needs to be asked, well, hang on a second, Wassy, what are these exceptions that you are talking about? And one of them makes me very, 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 very happy indeed, because it's Morpeko v Union. And this is weird, and it doesn't sound right, and it feels like it shouldn't happen, but at this stage, it is basically confirmed that Morpeko v Union is getting a character super rare. A 4-part character super rare. And then, of course, it's absolutely fair for you guys to ask the question, well, hang on a second, Wassy, how can you say with such certainty that we're getting a V-Union character super rare, a 4-part super rare? That makes no real sense. Pokemon have never done anything like that before. And the answer is, you look at the numbers. Boltund V comes in at number 225. Sylveon VMAX comes in at number 232. These are confirmed, we've seen them, we've seen the numberings. Which means that there are 6 spaces between Boltund V and Sylveon VMAX. And in the set, the only Vs and VMAXs we have between Boltund V and Sylveon VMAX are Morpeko v Union, Articuno V, Galarian Articuno V I should say, and Sylveon V. So, the only explanation, the only thing that makes any sense here whatsoever is that those 6 spots are made up by Articuno V, Sylveon V, and 4 spots for Morpeko v Union. It is the only thing that makes any sense. Now, this obviously leads to the question of, well, hang on a second, Wassy, what are they going to do? Does that mean you're going to have these potentially 1 per box character super rares, and there's going to be 42 of them in total, and you're going to have to find 4 different ones to make up this 1 V-Union? That seems over the top. Yes, it does. Just like V-Unions have always been in Japanese packs, I would be very, very surprised if these didn't always come as a 4-off. I.e., your character super rare, if it happens to be Morpeko v Union, you will get all 4 parts in the same pack. That is not confirmed, that is not official, we do not know that for certain, but I think at this stage it is the only thing that actually makes any sense. I cannot believe for a second that they would actually give you just 1 part and then make you run around looking for all 4. That would be way too difficult. Having to find 4 specific super rares like that is just, or secret rares really, character super rares. It's too much. There's no way Pokemon would do that. And I find it weird to think that a V-Union is going to have a 4-part character rare, but the fact of the matter is, if we look at the numbering of the set, it is the only thing that makes sense. There is nothing else that could reasonably occupy those spaces. Now, I did say there was another exception, and that is, if we look, number 251 is Zamazenta V, and number 253 is Duraludon VMAX. And that doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. Because, of course, there should be 3 spaces between Zamazenta and Duraludon VMAX. It should be Rayquaza V, Rayquaza VMAX, and Duraludon V. There should be 3 cards. There is, in fact, only 1. And I'm going to spoil it for you. It's going to be Rayquaza VMAX. And what that basically means is we are not getting character rares of either Rayquaza V or Duraludon V in this set. It's not happening. They're not coming. We are not getting them. There is no way we get Duraludon V and VMAX and we leave out Rayquaza. There's no way we get Rayquaza V and Duraludon VMAX. That doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Pokemon generally tend to be pretty consistent with this kind of stuff. We're going to be getting Rayquaza VMAX and Duraludon VMAX. We're not going to be getting Rayquaza and Duraludon V. But I'm not the first person to point this out, and I'm sure I won't be the last. We've already had them. Because if we go and look at the alternate art cards in Evolving Skies of Rayquaza V and Duraludon V, they look very different to your regular alternate art. And the reason they look different to your regular alternate art is because they prominently feature a character. Raihan on Duraludon and Zinnia on Rayquaza. They are character rares in all but name. Like if you look at Sylveon V and Dragonite V, They look like your regular alternate arts we've had for a little while. They are clearly focused on the Pokémon, whereas if you look at Rayquaza and Duraludon, they look like the character arts we're getting in this set. And honestly, I would be willing to bet, and we'll never know the answer to this, I'd be willing to bet they were commissioned at the same time. And I'd be willing to bet that they were meant to be used in the same way. For whatever reason, they ended up getting put into Evolving Skies, whether that was there was other art commission that didn't come through, whether they changed their mind, whatever it might have ended up being, I refuse to believe that these were coincidentally done for Evolving Skies, and then they moved on to this. That doesn't make any sense. These are clearly the character rares that would fit into VMAX Climax if these were getting character rares. You've seen the cards, I've explained it, it's the only thing that makes sense. And I know I keep using the phrase, it's the only thing that makes sense, because you know what? That is what an awful lot of this video is. I had good people like the lovely Antoine Boulet, like the lovely Primal Lugia, like some of you guys, asking me to sit down and take a look. And I did sit down. And I made a list of every V and VMAX in the set, and I put the numbers in, and it's indisputable. It makes way too much sense. Something super weird would have to be going on. So, essentially, your cliff notes here, your bullet point notes, your takeaways are this. There are going to be 42 character super rares. Incidentally, that only leaves room for 28 regular character rares, which is a little bit weird. We are going to be getting a character rare of every V and VMAX in the set, including Morpeko V Union as a 4-parter, but not including Rayquaza V and Duraludon V, because we already had them in Evolving Skies. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I told you this was a big update. I think this is a pretty gosh darn big update. We're still waiting to see the cards, but I think at this stage it is absolutely a given that this is correct. I refuse to be told I'm wrong on this, because everything lines up. Every single card lines up perfectly. It makes way too much sense. We will know by the end of the week when the set comes out proper, but I'm convinced enough to bring you a video. I don't bring you videos like this lightly. I make sure that everything works, and quite frankly, everything does. But now I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me which one of these you are looking forward to. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.